YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists, welcome to this week's episode of P&Q. This is the question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or put comments to me, and then I respond to you the following week every Monday as it happens, although I do record them over the course of the weekend. Sometimes it'll be Saturday, sometimes Sunday. In rare instances it's going to be Friday now, but it'll be Saturday or Sunday most likely. I used to record them on Fridays, but that's okay. Now there are 5 ways of doing this. I'll just run through them briefly. They're fairly obvious, but it's kind of a bit of the blurb that I spiel when I start the videos. 1, pop your comment or question down below, which is the common way of doing it, of course. So just write down there. The second way is, if you want to remain anonymous, that is, you can email me directly at miniwarzone@gmail.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. Or if you make a video yourself on YouTube, you're a content creator and you ask a question, it's a good one, or it's a topic I can talk about, then that will be on here as well. Or if you meet me in person, we meet in person, and it does happen. Just move the camera slightly. Yeah, if we meet in person, we talk, I can put that on here too if it's something quite interesting. Or if I see the question, you ask me on social media or something like that. And I'm currently on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That's it at the moment, I believe. Oh, Google Plus, of course. But yes, so there is that. Right, that said, I don't have any emails or video questions or personal questions or social media questions. But before I get into it, I do have to make an apology. Well, I feel I do anyway. Now, I made a video before we start. I made this video about the changes on YouTube, where you have to meet certain requirements. It's basically a change to the YouTube partner program. You've all seen it, I'm sure. Now, I did get a comment from a subscriber, and the comment, it was a really long comment. It was like like a short story almost. A really long comment, really in depth, lots of opinions, thought processes there, and they differed a lot from the way I think about things. But YouTube flagged the comment as, do I want to review this, because it could be spam or whatever. So I went on it and I thought, oh well, I do, although I disagree with the comment on a lot of places, I thought it raises a really good good points here, and I will address them. But I couldn't. I purposely clicked approve, comment, submit, and the comment vanished. Now that's the second time that's happened to me, or at least the second time that's happened to me. It happened to one of my other subscribers once as well. I clicked approve and clicked submit, and it vanished. Now, a lot of the time they are spam emails, and I click delete and it goes, yeah. And I was getting to the stage where I was thinking, well, perhaps I did click delete on the first one, but this time around I was really aware of it, and I thought, no, approve, double checked myself, submit, and it's gone. So I'm not going to say who the subscriber was. The person will know who they are. But I'm making this, apologising on behalf of YouTube, I suppose, because I don't want you thinking I deleted your comment just because, you thought I might disagree with you or something. Far from it. I was hoping to, get a bit more conversation going, but, well, it happens, I suppose. I mean, I can't, it was such a long, maybe that's why it was so long of a comment. It's easily the longest comment I've ever had, I think. And maybe that's why they just didn't put it on. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. So sorry about that. I mean, if you did want to put it up again, I can try again, or a shorter version. See if I can go up. I can answer you then as well. But I do apologise for that. But it's not me being funny, I promise you. Anyway, well, I've got my cap on, by the way, guys, because it's pouring with rain outside in the walk over. I just didn't want to get my head wet. There's got leaky guttering as well up the house, and you walk under it, it's like right on my head. Not good. Anyway, you don't want to hear about that. Let's get on with the comments that were left from last week's video. The first one comes from Super Wargamer. He says, Do you find 8th edition fun, or do you prefer 7th edition? Well, I do prefer 8th edition, I have to say, but that might not be a fair assessment because I haven't played it as much, yet really. I've only played 4? No, that doesn't count. 3. I've only played 3 games. Yes, 3 games. So not a lot at all. I haven't really played it enough to formulate a proper opinion on it yet, but at this stage I prefer 8th. I think 7th was too convoluted and just a lot of it made no sense. I mean, all rule sets have areas that are a bit like, what are you talking about? They do. No matter what rule set I think you come across, you'll find near perfect ones, but you'll never find perfect ones. But I enjoy it, and I'm really liking 8th. Although I haven't played, I really need a game of 8th edition. It's been ages. Though at the moment I must confess that I'm looking more of a Necromancer game. I want to get my stuff painted up as soon as and get that done, because I want to make videos for that for you. But yes, I prefer 8th. Although 7th was quite good. I enjoyed 7th. I only played 1 game of 6 because literally I got into it and then they changed it. I bought the book and literally a couple weeks later they came up with 7th edition. I'm like, really? But 7th seemed good to me, better than what I'd read of 6. Right, next is basic miniature painting, and he says, "Hi Pete, I thought of a question. Why do you think that Hollywood hasn't made a decent film from computer games? Doom was awful. Apart from the first Resident Evil, it hasn't worked." I think quite possibly it could be due to the fact that filmmakers, and Hollywood filmmakers in particular, don't take it as seriously. They don't view it as a big enough audience, I suppose. Although I think quite clearly it would be. But that's what I think, because no matter what the film, it never seems like the filmmakers are taking it very seriously. Oh, by the way, if I appear to be slumping down, I think my chair's on its way out. It was an old chair anyway, and I think the cylinder's gone, so I may be getting shorter. I'm just going to pop myself up a bit higher. That's a bit better, but I'll get shorter as time goes by. Sorry about that. But yeah, I just don't think they take it seriously, to be truthful. I can't think of any decent films from computer games, I'll be honest. Don't think there has been, and vice versa, really. They've all been a bit meh to me. But yeah, that's my reasoning. The fact that they just don't view it as a serious enough genre. Thank you for your question, Justin. Thank you for that. Okay, next up is Frost and Fists. I'm just going to have a sip of my Willowbark tea. Right, now last week I was talking about Christianity's view on Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, that's what the topic was. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll link a video from last week, so you can go and watch that. It's quite a good topic. It says, "Great episode once again, my brother. I myself have been accused of devil worshipping because of my love for D&D and Magic the Gathering. Of course, having grown up in an area of the US called the Bible Belt, I had become used to religious judgments of this sort." Yeah, so yeah, that was quite a good topic, I felt, to talk about, and I'm still fascinated by it. And I wasn't able to get to see my vicar, my other vicar, one of my other vicars this week. I want to ask as many people in my church as possible what their view is on this. I'm start from the top and work my way down, as it were. So I can't give you a kind of an update on that, but yeah, been there, mate. He said, for next time, pick a song that fits a favourite army of yours and tell us why it fits. Take care, my brother, Wolf Brother Mythos. What a good question, sir. I've got the perfect one. A song that fits a favourite army of mine. Well, let's take my Tyranids, because they are my favourite army. They are my first love in Warhammer, and they are my main love for 40k. So that's the army, and the song is Judas by British Lion, called British Lion. It's the band that Steve Harris formed as his solo project. Steve Harris, for those of you who don't know, is the bass player for Iron Maiden. He did a solo project a few years back called British Lion, and the song is called Judas, and the lyrics to that song fit perfectly because I don't know, they're such a fickle army, really. Well, they have been for me. 1 minute they're really kicking butt, and the next minute they poop all over you. It's just, what? Really? Yeah, so if you don't know it, Judas by British Lion, Steve Harris, British Lion. Listen to it. It's about, it's a love song, of course, but it fits so well. Even like the line where I had your name upon my arm. How many people have had Warhammer tattoos on their arm? Wolf Brother Mythos can relate to that. So yeah, give it a listen if you don't know it anyway. It's so perfect for an army in Warhammer. You could use it on any army, really. But yeah, that's my pick, definitely. Okay, the next one is Frost and Fists also. It comes from Freak from Frost and Fists. He says, wow, really awesome topics, Pete. If I may, I'd like to share my perspective on D&D and how my parents viewed it. Oh, brilliant. Of course, my mother thought it was the devil and would not allow me or my friends to bring the game into the house. Go figure. So we hung out in my garage and played. Now, I do consider myself a believer, and I feel the term Christianity is a blanket term used loosely by so many. Not much different than how the term Pharisee and Sadducee were used. Get the irony? For those of you that don't know, they were Jewish sects. Pharisee and Sadducee. Cut a long story short, although they were both different, they kind of felt they were superior to other people, everyone else. Like they wanted everyone to see how good of a Christian they were. Look how wonderful we are. We do this, we do that. But I'll come on to that. So yeah, I do get the irony. After a short stint of research, prayer and biblical research, I drew my final conclusion. It's not what goes into the body that defiles it, but what comes from your heart. Mark chapter 7 verse 15. Nice one. In other words, there should always be a balance in everything, and as long as any of those hobbies, games or whatever do not take the place of our Creator, then it is absolutely fine. Some, and most Christians, would disagree, but these are those that use the term as an institution instead of a scholarship. Again, great topic, my man. Yes, yeah. And I relate to the Pharisee and Sadducee in a lot of ways, because I came across so many of these Christians that had this sort of pretentious attitude of superiority over everyone else. Look how wonderful of a Christian we are. Look how much we go to church. Look how much we donate here, and all this. And yet, when the opportunities arose to do the simplest of what I would class Christian acts, like a homeless man came knocking on the door once, it was interesting to see, the people that were actually taking off their jackets. I'll give him my coat, and the ones that were like, oh, phone the police and get rid of him, that kind of thing. So I totally get what you're talking about there. Thank you for the response, freak. Freakalicious, you freakalicious freak, you. Awesome, thank you very much. Okay, on to Rocky's War Room now. And he said, thanks for answering my question. I really appreciate it. No problem, that's what this series is for. I will answer every question. I don't plan on using the airbrush a lot either, and everyone I ask says it's a necessity. I didn't think I needed one for a couple of models here and there. We're talking about spray booths. No, I don't think it's a necessity. And like I say, I am kind of put off by using one anyway because of the change of directionality of the spray. I'm not good enough to compensate for that. So if I'm spraying here and the extractor fan is pulling it this way, it's going to have an effect. It's going to pull my spray pattern out. It's going to spread it where I don't want it. So, and I don't spray brush that often, and I always use it's always ventilated in here, like naturally anyway, and I always use a mask. For the amount I do it personally, and it's my own personal choice, I feel that is enough. That said, you know, when we move, and one day we will move to a bigger place, and obviously goodness have a studio there as well. There will come a time probably where I want to tinker around with either making a spray booth or trying one out, see how I get on with it. Might be okay, I don't know, but at this point in time I just don't feel I need one, and I haven't really got the space for more Burgumphrey lying around that won't get used that much, to be truthful. Anyway, no problem, and thank you for responding to the answer. Nice one, dude. Idic Beer 40k says, nice video, Pete. I'm on a bit of a Greg's kick at the moment. What is your go-to choice when you visit them? Is that a bakery? We don't have a Greg's down here in Plymouth. At least not that I know of, anyway. But in a stand, if I'm right in thinking it's a bakery, my go-to choice would be the just pasty. That's what I usually go for. You can judge a lot from a bakery that does pasties by their common or garden beef pasty, or stick and onion, whatever it might be. What is the main one, like the basic one, the usual one? If that's not really doing it for you, then the other stuff probably won't either. It's all in how you make it. I used to be a baker, I know this, and I do have a passion for cheese and onion, though at times. Vegetable, but the pastry has to be right. I like it in wholemeal pastry, preferably. A good vegetable pasty in wholemeal pastry, you don't see it so much down here now, but I used to make them in my bakery where I used to work many moons ago, and they were lovely, absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to say vegetable pasty with wholemeal pastry, and I might be totally wrong here. Greg's might not even be a bakery, but that's just what I thought. It came into my head, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. And obviously, then next time I'll come up with a better answer, hopefully. So, but thank you for your question anyway, Nick. Much appreciated. And I would just like to take this opportunity to say, Wargamers Unification, what a cool idea! I found so many cool new channels, guys, out there, and part of what my answer was going to be to the subscriber right at the beginning I was going to say, because he was talking about a sub for sub thing and how he doesn't believe that's a good idea. It's not really about that. It's about finding new channels and increasing my awesome variety of viewing choice. And let's not forget, people, anybody else, disbelievers out there, the changes in the YouTube Partner Program, obviously they don't affect the bigger channels, and they feel it's going to help the bigger channels, and some people view, yes, I think it should do, and that's okay, that's your choice. But remember, nobody not one started out as a big channel. They all started out as small little channels. Every single one of them. So bear that in mind when you formulate your arguments. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, thank you, Nick. What a cracking idea that was. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, I'm on my last question now. Well, actually, there's 4 questions. Brilliant. Yes. Excellent. Right, okay. Okay, this comes from Daniel Grant. Hello, Daniel. He says, "Hi Pete, love your channel. Thank you, sir. Love how varied it is with your topics and content. I have a few questions. Well, first of all, I love variety. Absolutely love it. I also love channels that specialise, and that's equally cool. But my own personal preference for creating content is variety. I love variety. Absolutely love it." Okay, he has a few questions. Number 1, what were your pick and mix sweets of choice as a child? Pick and mix. I quite like those little square ones you used to get in dolly mixtures. Do you remember those? Like with the 3 colours on, and they were quite soft and squidgy. Those, gummy bears, and the little yellow bananas and the pink shrimps. They were my favourite for penny sweets. Well, pick and mix. I used to get them as penny sweets. I think they used to charge 2p for the bananas and that, but back in my day. But it was still pick and mix. But yeah, those are my favourites. Okay, he says, how often? And this is number 2. Question number 2. Look, this perspective. The hand gets bigger. Well, it's got to do with anything. I don't know. I'm trying to distract myself from the rain. No, I don't want to go out in it later. Number 3 says, number 2. We're on question number 2. I nearly skipped to number 3 then. How rude would that have been? Number 2. How often do you put your hand, arm or sleeve in the paint you put on your table? I suppose on a weekly basis. At least once a week. I try to wear older clothes now when I paint. I see some of you even wear aprons, which is a cool idea, but you've still got the sleeve thing going on here. Yeah, I've got so many old tops with like bits of red and green and blue on the sleeves, and that is crazy. Or splodges of where I've been dry brushing and putting washes on and stuff. Yeah, loads of it. 3. How do you prime your models during the winter months? Well, I like to prime infantry by hand anyway, so with a paintbrush. If it's bigger, I use an airbrush, so paintbrush or airbrush, and I can do that any time of year, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what time of year. Just airbrush or paint by hand. The Vallejo primer, and that's what I use. I like black and dark grey. I don't like the lighter grey, and the white, they can be a little bit chalky. I've got a yellow one which is quite good as well. That works quite well. So that's that. And the last question. Okay, let me just get the cursor there ready. He says, what's the best way to remove mould lines from models? I currently hate it, as I always end up scraping / sanding / filing too much or not enough. Well, that was always my problem when I started the hobby, because I'm naturally heavy-handed. So if I'm using a hobby knife and I start scraping away at stuff, I'm so heavy-handed, and I used to end up damaging the models. But get yourself a mould line remover. That's mine. I swear by these. They are absolutely brilliant because they're not sharp edged. They don't kind of skip and jump as you're they smoothly. You get the right angle. It just smoothly takes off the mould lines. You can go quite hard with this, and it doesn't damage it nowhere near like a knife does. It's so safe. I mean, you know, kids can use this, younger people. True, it doesn't get in all the areas, but for the main areas like legs and arms and helmets and, you know, things like that of that nature, it's absolutely brilliant. I promise you. But for the other areas, just have to get your little knife just at the end of it and do that. But I use those for the main, and I'll just get like little hobby files, jewelers files, or whatever for the rest of it. I used to use sandpaper and nail files when I started. I used to steal my wife's nail files and use that, but you know, I just progressed to that, and I've not looked back. That's how I get rid of my mold, because I hate mould lines with a vengeance. So yeah, I mean, you can even use this on metal models as well. It does work. But for plastic, it is sublime, absolutely brilliant. I haven't looked back, so I did actually give one away on my 500 subscriber thank you thing, and I enjoy it so much. I'm going to be giving another one away as part of my giveaway for reaching 1,000 subscribers. So you know, once I get to 1,000 subscribers, or as near as damn it, I'm going to be doing another giveaway, and that's going to be part of it. And because I want to spread the love, because a lot of people, really experienced hobbyists out there, they say, I don't know, why would I need that? I just use a knife or turn my knife upside down to use the where's it gone? So there's the knife, that's the bit you cut with there. So they say, I'll just turn it upside down and use that. It's not the same, and it doesn't feel the same. It feels nothing like a mould line remover, absolutely nothing like it. Yeah, so I swear by a mould line remover, and I've got two of them. I've got the old one when it first came out. Let's see if it's to hand. Ah, yes. This was the original mould line remover from Citadel. I've since upgraded it to this one. It's a slightly thicker end. It's ever so slightly. I don't know if you can see the difference there, but this one's more solid, and I just use it all the time. You can use this one. It's not hard. I wouldn't use this one on metal miniatures though. It's slightly bent. Yeah, just for plastic on this one, but that one use on either. And like I say, I love it. Anyway, that's all my questions for this week. Yeah, I'm sorry there's no emails or video questions that I picked up this week. There's been a lot going on with this. Everybody's doing their videos on the YouTube changes that are coming on February the 20th. You know, as you know, I'm hoping to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark before then, because I meet the other criteria, which is 4,000 hours in the last 12 months. I tick that box, and over 10,000 views on the channel, because I'm on like nearly 160,000 views on the channel now. So I tick those boxes. You know, I don't want my partnership privileges taken away. You know, I don't know if they are going to remove, you have the option to have custom thumbnails and things, and that will make it so much harder for smaller channels to get going and get popular, because people like custom thumbnails. Or I like them, and you know, all the other cool stuff that you have access to. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling on now. So this is P&Q. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share the videos, that always helps to reach a greater audience. And yeah, click that bell button if you want notifications. I put videos up several times a week. I do sometimes have a day off on the weekend, but most days I'm uploading videos. So yeah, and if I get over this 1,000 subscriber platform, then I'm going to start implementing further changes to the channel in a good way. So anyway, thanks for watching. Remember, all brushes lead to war. I will see you on the next video, and bye for now.